In this episode, we shall continue with the rise and growth of British in India, as discussed in the previous episode. There was an extension of the British influence between the period of 1765 to 85, post Battle of Buxar. During this period, the British were having lot of powers but least responsibilities. This eventually led to corruption, subsequent oppression, which was reflected in the maladministration of the 1770 Bengal famine, which resulted in the death of nearly one-third of Bengal population. During this time, the British were facing, or rather had to reckon with, three main powers: that of the Marathas, the Nawab of Hyderabad, and the powers that be at Mysore. Warren Hastings was made the Governor General during 1772, and during his tenure the Regulating Act was passed in 1773. During the period of 1775 to 82, there was intense Anglo-Maratha wars. During this time as well, the French offered support to the Marathas. The British, during this time, they betrayed Hyder Ali against whatever they had planned in their subsequent treaties after the Anglo-Mysore War of non-interference, rather of protecting Mysore during interference from outside powers. In this case, the Marathas attacked Mysore and the British remained neutral. Subsequently, they gained the neutrality of the Nizam of Hyderabad against Mysore and Marathas. The British followed a policy of non-interference owing to their defeat during the American independence, precisely around 1785 onwards. They eventually decided not to interfere in the internal matters of the natives back home in India. It was during this phase of non-interference that the Gurkhaman of Nepal and the Burmese kingdom became powerful, but with their impending trade interests and their policy of expansion had to come out gradually, and they slowly gave up this policy of non-interference and started interfering, which was eventually seen in their interference in the Third Anglo-Mysore War against Tipu Sultan. And they stayed silent when the Marathas attacked Hyderabad and levied Chowth. Chowth was a Maratha tax levied outside their domain, which was 1/4 of the tax levied during the Mughal period. They also interfered in the Awadh succession. There was expansion of the British during the period of 1798 to 1809. This was the period when there was a breakout of the French Revolution. Tipu Sultan, the ruler of Mysore, sympathized with the French. He even sought their support against the British. This phase is marked by the contributions of Lord Wellesley. He revived the policy of extending influence during this period. He was the architect of subsidiary alliance, which was eventually accepted by our Indian rulers in this present order, where the Nizam of Hyderabad accepted it initially. He was followed by the Nawab of Oudh, then Peshwa Bajirao too, and the Amirs of Sindh eventually accepted subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance is a peculiar alliance system wherein a British resident is posted at the kingdom or the court of the prince who accepts it. Along with that, there is a British force which is stationed within the territory of the king who accepts it, and this British force is rather has the responsibility of protecting the kingdom from external aggression. Lord Wellesley was also involved in major Anglo-Maratha wars. Because of his warmongering nature, eventually the British government had to recall him owing to the heavy war expenditure incurred during his lordship. The British further expanded between 1809 to 1848. During this period, Lord Minto conquered Java, Sumatra from the Dutch. He laid the foundation of naval supremacy in Southeast Asia. His adventure towards Southeast Asia was basically to control trade. Along with that, he extended his influence in Iran, Afghanistan, and northwest of India. Following him, Marquess of Hastings conquered Nepal during this phase of expansion, and they also conquered the Pindaris. Now, these Pindaris were a band of plunderers. They were getting support from the Marathas. They also conquered the Rajput states. Also, they did the same with Burma. However, they had a failed Afghan adventure. They wanted to capture Afghanistan owing to their fear of an imminent Russian attack into the Indian territories of the British through Afghanistan and Iran. They were successful in signing a treaty of friendship with Raja Ranjit Singh of Punjab. After Ranjit Singh's tenure and after he expired, there was a lot of war of succession, and eventually Lord Dalhousie was successful in annexing Punjab after the Second Anglo-Sikh War. Now we shall discuss the reasons for the British success in India. The British basically followed two methods, one of subsidiary alliance, the other of direct annexation, whoever was against subsidiary alliance, which was seen in Punjab and Sindh. The causes for the British success: there were no internal unity among the Indian rulers. There was centralized control of the East India Company, which helped them take easy decisions, quick decisions, efficient decisions, and implementation was very quick with the centralized architecture. They followed a policy of divide and rule. Initially, they divided the rulers amongst themselves. Later on, they extended it to division of Hindus versus Muslims and other minorities. The Indian rulers themselves were incapable of rising to the occasion. There was lot of internal conflict among the Marathas themselves. Maharaja Ranjit Singh, though was powerful, he could not build a state which could last beyond its time. There was internal weakness amidst the Indian rulers themselves, which made them depend on outside support. Then the Indian rulers were backward in their economic and their technology. The British, owing to their industrial revolution during the late 17th and 18th century, had better artilleries. Thank you.